If you're stuck, money is tight, you're exhausted. Every Monday feel heavier than the last one. I've been there. I was a 60K data analyst, stuck at my job feeling super unfulfilled, and I asked myself, is this really it till I'm 65? Then one decision changed my life. I said yes to a BDR job, and that got me from stuck to making 10K a month. To be honest, when you're in survival mode, everyone's trying to give you advice. Your family, your friends, and your loved one, they always tell you to be realistic, play it safe, don't take risks. But they're not giving you advice for your own happiness. They're just projecting their fears, their limits, and their version of security on you. And they don't even need to take consequence of their advice. You do. So the truth is, no one's gonna come save you. You have to fight for yourself. Fight for the life you want. Fight for the version of you that doesn't settle. And fight for the future that light you up. The second I start betting on myself and stop waiting for approval, everything changed. So now I'm handing you a full playbook on how to break into tech sales, including some ChatGPT prompt my client used to land at top company like Okta and Toast. If you're done playing small and ready to bet on yourself, let's get to work. So what is BDR? It stands for Business Development Representative. I call it your gateway to six-figure income. It's an entry-level tech sales job, but they still make super good money, base plus commission. You get 60% base and then 40% commission, which is great. Like bi-weekly, you get like 60% of like 100K. The base, you will get it bi-weekly, and commission usually is payout monthly. What you do is you basically just trying to cold outreach to prospect through cold email, cold calls, or like LinkedIn. The goal of all these actions is to book an intro meeting for the account executive, who's the person that in charge of a whole selling cycle. Let's say selling a software takes 10 steps, and BDR, they generally take care of the first 3 steps, and account executive, they take care of the rest, or the whole selling cycle. So like I would say BDR is a great way to break into the tech industry, not even tech sales. A lot of people start as a BDR, and then later when they find their passion into the other aspect of tech, they can grow into it, right? So like don't feel scared that you will get stuck as a BDR and become a salesperson forever. Like that's not really the case. A lot of people will grow into like customer success or like a sales engineer. If you really want, you can still grow in the sales ladder, become an account executive. And since BDR is an entry point, right? So it's totally fine for career changers like us, come from a different background, different industry to break in. Because company, they really want fresh perspective and new energy from different industry to help them build pipeline. In order to get your prospect attention, you have to be super creative, like you need attention from them. So bringing in a fresh perspective and new energy from a different industry, it's a great way. So what do company really want in a BDR? First thing first, curiosity over experience. In general, a lot of people have a misunderstanding. They might be like, okay, so I like talking. That's why I can be in sales. I can thrive in it. And I thought that too. Before I entered the industry, I thought so too. That's why at the beginning, I was hesitate to break into tech. Because if you know me personally, in real life, I don't speak a lot, but I ask very good questions. I was always very curious and interested in everything in life. I would say my biggest strength and the core reason why I can break in from a data analyst to tech sales without any experience is my ability to ask good questions. So if you're someone like this, you can totally kill the job. And if you don't, it's totally fine. Just try to ask more questions in a conversation instead of talking about yourself. So the second thing company really likes is metric-driven mindset. We're in sales, so more or less it's a number game. You have to understand what is your input, how many calls you did every day, what's your connection rate, and then okay, like let's say the target is 10 meetings a month, where are you at each week? Like these things you have to keep in mind. If you don't know your number, you're already behind. So I would say if you're someone that willing to look at the number and take action, you'll be good. Because I would say like in order to grow, you have to look at hard data to understand where you at today and then where you want to be. So using metrics and numbers, it's a great way to understand where you at. And then third, it's like strong communication skills wouldn't hurt, And when I say strong communication, doesn't mean that you have to talk a lot. You don't have to be the most outgoing person in this entire universe. Because personally, I'm not at all. Like, first of all, English is my third language. Like, sometimes I struggle to speak English, But I would say I have good communication skills because I can explain things in a very concise and simple way. I would say that's the core of communication. And then it's resilience and coachability. Because like guys, like you're working at a company and there's hierarchy, right? So in order for a company or the hiring manager to hire you, they have to have a sense that, okay, like if I hire you, you're willing to do hard work. And if I tell you advice or like give you some feedback, you're willing to take it. If you don't listen to them, like might as well you just work on your own. Like why you join a company, you know? And resilience is basically the foundation of sales, because you couldn't close everything and you wouldn't build pipeline within one day. So everything has to be consistent and you have to be resilient. No matter how good you are today or how bad you are today, you need to be able to reset and then come back strong the next day. And then the last thing I think it's the most important is AI tool familiarity. I think if you can break into BDR or tech sales in 2025, you would be so lucky. Because nowadays, like with AI, with ChatGPT, like Claude, all that, you can just basically automate your work. You know, so you have to understand AI. You should learn about AI every day. And then obviously down the line, I will show you some prompts you can use to help you break in. But I would recommend everyone to learn about AI. I use it like basically every hour I work nowadays. I couldn't imagine the day without AI nowadays. So another thing is like, okay, like how do you win then? The first thing first you should mention is like the fresh perspective you can bring in. For my case, I was a data analyst. So whenever they bring up, be like, okay, like you don't have experience, you know, like how can we bet on you? It looks like it's a huge risk. So like, first of all, I tell them my understanding of how the job is. And then I show them, okay, like I know how to cold call, even though in my last job, I never really do it because I use other opportunity for me to practice cold call. And the core idea you want to tell the hiring manager is I can bring in fresh perspective to your team. I remember when I first started as a BDR and no one really do it strategically, you know, like they're just following some cadence, marketing team build them. And then for me, I was like, okay, like where's the strategy, you know? So, cause like I was a data analyst, I look at hard data to take action. And then, so when I joined the team, I was building my own strategy. Like basically every day I would look into, let's say I have 100 accounts. I'll look into, okay, like what are the ideal customer who are important and then why I should spend time on them, and then I will build an action plan instead of just randomly calling 100 people. Like the second thing you can say is, yes, I don't have sales experience, but it also means I don't have bad habit to unlearn. This is the biggest headache of most sales manager, because like when they hire someone already been in tech sales before, they learn a certain process or like ways of doing things. But in a new company, they might not want you to do it like that, right? So as someone that like don't have background, don't have experience, you can proudly say that if you want me to do ABC, then I will just do ABC. You know, like I will listen to you and I'm very coachable. And more importantly, I don't have bad habit. So I would say breaking into tech sales is really not about a perfect experience. It's really to tell them, show them you're very hungry, resilient, and coachable, and make them believe you can do the job. So here's a ChatGPT prompt you can use to help you break into a BDR job or in general tech sales. So what you can do is help me break into a BDR role at insert company. I'm a career changer with insert your background. Research this company and create 1. A cold email and cold call script to hiring manager mentioning specific company challenges. 2. 3 intelligent questions to ask during interview. 3. Pain points their ideal customer are facing right now. 4. Value proposition positioning my background as an advantage. Make it personalized, specific, and shows I understand their business. So I already ran ahead, insert a prompt. Let's say you are interviewing at Toast and you have a data analyst background. So this is what I get, a cold call script. If you are curious about how to actually run a cold call to the hiring manager, I actually have a video explained in detail and I will put it in the description below. So for this script, the result is not bad. You know, the first sentence, I wouldn't really use it because it sounds too passive. You want to come in strong, open the call. But what you get here, like these are all the detail about the company, like in this case, Toast, is very, very valuable. It looks like you actually do a lot of research about the company, but in fact, you just insert a prompt and the AI show you what is it. And then the good thing is they also incorporate your background here, right? This is basically your value proposition. And then here we get email as well. This email is good. It's at a pretty concise length. And then they start with, okay, this is where you're from and your understanding of the company. This is pretty good. And then here are the 3 intelligent questions. I would say these questions are very good, because they're very catered to the company you are interviewing for. But some other question you can ask them during interview is really understand their process, right? Like how do they run calls, or like what are the sequence they use, and then understand, okay, what is the top performer looks like, because you want to show that you want to become them as well. And then fourth, we're looking at their pain point, because in sales, if there's no pain, there's no sales. So the most important things to figure out is their pain point, is their customer pain point. So here the ChatGPT lists out a couple ones, and then you can show your understanding, during the interview. You can basically sprinkle in these pain points that you do research, and then just make the hiring manager feel like, okay, like you do understand our company and you do understand our customer, right? And then lastly is a value proposition. This is basically how you can use it to answer, tell me about yourself. Right, so I leverage data-driven prospect scoring. Okay, yeah, since this is my AI, right? So it kind of write in my tone of voice. If you want, you can tell it to write it in your tone of voice, and then give it a few different prompts to make it more concise. So the core message I really want to share here is don't apply like everyone else. It's 2025. We have AI. So try to leverage these software. And then one is to speed up your process. Don't take so long to apply for a job. And then second is you need to send out personalized and tight messages to get the prospect, which is the hiring manager's attention. Because nowadays, information is so overload. Everyone gets a lot of emails. How do you get the hiring manager attention? It's what makes you stand out. Okay, so now let's get into the BDR interview process. So generally it ranges from 2 to 4 rounds. So the first round is very standard. It's the recruiter calls, but at the same time, don't just winging it, because recruiter, they can tell your energy and they can see if you actually have potential. So you want to show up very strong in the first 90 seconds and lead with energy, and also tell them a little about your understanding of the company. And since they're a recruiter, they don't know a lot about sales, then you can just tell them your understanding about the culture of the company and then the product at a high level. Just to give you an example, I remember there was one company I really want to work at before, but they rejected me, was because they can hear I was super nervous in my voice. So be sure you practice and feel super confident during these calls. And then generally followed by the recruiter round, there's a hiring manager round. And the core here is the hiring manager is really just to trying to see if you can do the job, if they want to work with you. It's basically these 2 simple questions. And then how you can do it, it's first you need to build rapport with them, make them feel like they want to work with you. And then second is you're going to showcase your understanding about the role plus your previous experience to help you support your point. And I would say be sure to prepare. They challenge you. They might think, they will ask you, okay, let's say you don't have experience and now you want to bring into tech sales. So what are the challenge you will face? And they will ask you that. And I remember there was at the beginning when I was interviewing and I didn't have a lot of experience, and I was shocked. I didn't know what to say for a question like this, So now I'm telling you, so make sure you prepare for that. And then depends on the company and depends on their process. They will want you to do a mock call. It's generally a cold call role play, right? So core to run these calls, it's what I mentioned at the beginning. You need to ask insightful question. You need to get to the bottom of their pain point. So let's say we're selling toast. Every small business or a restaurant owner want to make money, but that's not a pain point. Then you need to ask more questions. Let's say use a framework like TED. Tell me more about it. Explain to me. Describe to me. Try to get to understand their problem. Do you have inventory problem? Do you have staffing problem? Or do you have transactional problem? These things you need to ask them. So you can start with asking broad question using the TED framework. Tell me more. Explain to me. Describe to me this situation. just to get the prospect talking. I would say that's the core to pass the cold call interview. And then sometimes they will have a panel interview with you, meaning like they will bring in multiple people from the team. It could be like there's AE that you might work with in the future, and then there's also like hiring manager or their boss in the same meeting with you. So when you have a situation like this, like don't panic. The core to feel confident in these calls and be able to handle it is, one is preparation. You need to like go stalk these people, go on LinkedIn, find them, look at them, and then see who are they, what do they like, how long have they been at the company. And then second is you need to practice role play with people, get feedback. Then by the time you're actually doing the real one, then you will feel super confident. And then after you go through those 4 rounds, and again, it depends on the company. It's not necessary all the company have 4 rounds. Some company only have 2 rounds. Then you will get an offer, which is good. But that's generally what the process looks like. And I want to point out something that most people do it wrong. Like the biggest thing is they always give super generic answer. Like for example, they was like, okay, like I'm passionate about tech sales, or I like sales, I like technology. I mean, guys, like everyone can say that. It's so generic and it's so boring to hear, right? Like it's too service level, I would say. That's the reason. Just like when you go on a date and you tell a girl, like, I just like you, you're so cute. Like cute. Like everyone call everyone cute nowadays. Like, can you be more specific? Give me some more example, right? To make them feel like you actually care about me. In this case, you're interviewing for the company. Like they want to know if you actually care about their product and if you actually like care about their team and culture, right? Avoid generic answer like this. Instead, you need to add more specific stuff. And then the second mistake a lot of people make is winging the cold call with surface level question. Like you really need to practice and then say it loud many times in order to have a good flow during the cold call and be able to handle different objection. So those are the things like I would say you should spend time and working on. And the third mistake I would say is spending too long on resume. I would say I say it many times already, but resume is not why you will win it. It's just a ticket to enter the interview process. But for your LinkedIn and the way you answer question is what actually get you hired. But a lot of people, like when they start looking for jobs, they just spend hours and hours on resume, fixing points or anything. I would say like with AI nowadays, you can run it within 1 hour. Like don't spend all day doing it because it's not going to move the needle. Then again, the core of like every interview, it's not about being perfect. It's really to show them you can think like a BDR. You give them a feeling that you can already be in the industry. That's the key. Okay, so like after you know what are the mistakes not to do, then I'm going to share with you some secrets. Like this is some psychological trigger that really works in interview. So for example, you are interviewing with Toast. The biggest thing we want to infuse is scarcity. You need to tell them, yeah, like I really want to get into the POS system, which is what Toast is in, right? Then you need to tell them, okay, I'm also interviewing with their competitor. In this case, it's Lightspeed and or Square. When the hiring manager hear that, they would just feel like, oh my God, this person must be a top candidate. Like, let me hear him out. So it's basically human, like we want what we cannot get. And when they know you're talking to their competitor, they instantly just feel like, okay, I'm going to take you more seriously. So that's the key. And then second thing is you can also, when they ask you about, okay, why this company, you can give it some social proof. So the second psychological trigger is you can use social proof. For example, they ask you, okay, why do you want to work at Toast? Then you can be like, yeah, like I'm very serious about getting into tech sales, and one of my mentor or like my career coach is telling me the culture and the people at Toast, and that's got me starting to research about Toast. And I talked to like a lot of people at the company and also been on a couple interview with the HR now. I'm actually really liking it. This is showing that you're very serious about this opportunity and you're not just winging it. You're not just like a massive apply and see what stick. And then the lastly, it's because like we're in sales, right? Like I said, you have to be resilient, and there's no harm to show your commitment. You can just like come in super strong, even though you don't know your competitor, you don't know your colleagues yet, but you gotta have the confidence to come up and tell them, okay guys, if you hire me, like I'm gonna outwork all your BDRs, I'm gonna become the number one in your team. So it's also a confidence too, confidence in yourself and confidence in your ability to learn. That's what really get you hired. So I would say the core to break into a new industry is stop selling your past, but sell your future potential. Because a lot of times people don't know, like they're just doing an educated guess. So for example, you're investing in the S&P 500, you don't know if they're gonna go up or not, it's just a guess. So same thing in interview, like don't tell them, okay, like your previous experience, you don't say it super specifically, be like, yeah, like I'm sorry, I don't have experience. Like sell your potential, sell them like a feeling that you can do the job. That's the core. And the last advice I really want to share here is don't try to be a perfect candidate and prepare everything or consume a lot of information that you don't even have time to or energy to consume. Like there's no need to overload yourself, but the core is you want to think about what makes you unique, what makes you special. Right? Just like going on a date. Like for example, a girl, like she will see like 10 guys, right? So out of the 10 guys, like if you want to be the one that's selected, you have to be someone that is unforgettable, make her feel like you're fun, and make her recall your memory with you, right? So same thing apply to interview. You have to think about what makes you unique. What are the things that most candidates don't have, and then you need to lean into your uniqueness and your difference, because like it's also a cognitive bias, because like in our human brains we always think different equal better, which is in fact is not true, but like that's how our brain perceive things. So you want to be different, like don't try to blend in like everyone else, try to be yourself. So if you're serious about breaking into tech sales and want that 6-figure income fast, book a call in the description below, and I will show you at Ripple Effect how do we use AI power system to help you land a tech sales job within a month.